Okay. Bonjour tout le monde. Good morning, everyone. My name is Antoine Bergeon, and I'm the program coordinator here at the Ottawa branch of the National Association of Federal Retirees. So on behalf of the branch, I'm pleased to welcome you to today's webinar titled Mind Your Brain Health, which is presented by Meg Stickl-Kroeker, owner of local business AIM Fitness and the Dementia Society of Ottawa and Renfrew County. So we welcome our speaker, Germán Chique-Alfonzo, who is the education coordinator for the Dementia Society. Germán will present an overview of the brain, aging, MCI, and dementia, and he'll also share tips on healthy lifestyle choices that can prevent and delay some forms of dementia. Veuillez noter que le webinaire sera présenté en anglais, mais la participation bilingue est toujours encouragée. I also want to give a special welcome here to anyone who is not yet a member of the association. So we hope that these webinars will inspire you to join us. And to our members, we hope that these webinars will encourage you to maintain your membership. So after today's webinar, the Ottawa branch will send you an email with instructions on how to access the recording of today's webinar and how to join the association or give the gift of membership. Remember too that you can always invite non-members to register for our webinars as guests and try us out for free. Finally, there will be a question and answer period at the end of the webinar. So please type any questions in the chat box throughout the session, and they will be answered during the Q&A period. Okay, that's it from me, and I'm going to turn over the presentation to Meg.
All right, thanks, Antoine. So I connected with Germán a few years ago before COVID when I was teaching some fitness classes for the Dementia Society. And I've done a few presentations for them. So it's nice to collaborate once again. Germán is a wealth of knowledge. He is currently the education coordinator for the Dementia Society. And his role is to plan and deliver educational sessions for people living with dementia, caregivers, healthcare professionals, and the community. And he shares about Alzheimer's disease and other types of dementia in Canada's capital. So Germán, I want to welcome you here and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us.
Well, thank you so much for that introduction and welcome everyone. Thank you, Meg. And thank you for this invitation. I'm very honored to be here today. And yes, so today we're going to have a special session on brain health, aging, a few words about dementia, and also some practical tips about brain healthy choices that you may choose and you may follow in the future. So there's not an age, there's not a specific time to start being brain healthy. So I encourage everyone to follow these tips. So before we start, as I mentioned, I'm the education coordinator, just also a bit of a disclosure. So this is an information and educational session. By all means, it's important to always encourage you to seek for advice of your physician or local qualified health provider. And also we're funded by Public Health Agency of Canada through the Stronger Together project. So today's presentation is Mind Your Brain Health, as I mentioned, and Meg mentioned. So we're going to discuss a few things here, but the most important thing to start with is to, I want you also to think about your brain. Think about the brain function, also what your brain does for you, and what we give to the brain, right? Because the brain is such a novel organ. It's also known by some people as the CEO of the body, right? As the manager. So we have only one brain, and it's very important that the brain, consider the brain as an important and complex organ that does an amazing job. So our brain is pretty much ourself, right? It's our personality, our memory, our thoughts, our education, our experiences in life, everything, right? So we need to take care of the brain as the rest of the body, right? And the other thing is every day we know a little bit more about how we can improve our brain health. Just talking about evidence, and this is a very evidence-based presentation because we review all the current knowledge out there in terms of evidence, in terms of prevention, dementia prevention, and Alzheimer's disease prevention. So talking about evidence, so in 2019, there was a publication by the World Health Organization on dementia prevention. And they talk about different risk factors and things that we can do to improve our brain health and stay healthy and prevent Alzheimer's disease. So just recently in 2020, there was another publication that it's called the Dementia, by the Dementia Prevention and Care, Lancet Commission on Dementia Prevention and Care. So they proposed 12 risk factors in life that can actually, targeting these 12 risk factors may help us to delay or fend off dementia. So let's talk about a few words about this risk factor. So according to the Lancet Commission on Prevention, Intervention, and Care in 2020, they're modified risk factors. And if we address those 12 risk factors, as I mentioned, we might even delay up to 40% of dementia. And we see through life, we have different risk factors, and just focusing on the 65 plus group. Things like smoking, depression, social isolation, physical inactivity, diabetes, and air pollution are important risk factors in dementia. And just on the same note, last year I was able to attend to the Alzheimer's Disease International in London, UK. And these risk factors are definitely something that we need to be aware of. And things like, for example, like air pollution, it was added in the last report. We never think about air pollution, right? And air quality, talking about air quality. But things like, for example, as well, physical inactivity are very, very important. Things like hypertension or high blood pressure or cardiovascular or heart health are very important things that we need to address, as well as obesity, mental health, diabetes, hearing impairment, and alcohol consumption, as well as smoking. So those 12 risk factors is a way to also show you that the things that the things that we can do to prevent dementia and Alzheimer's disease. So we're going to start with our presentation because we haven't started yet. So today we're going to talk about three main things. So I want you to, at the end of this lecture, I want you to learn brain healthy choices that you can take, things that you can do every day to improve your brain health. Second, we're also going to talk something about some words about aging, right? So we're going to talk about the aging brain and what happens as we age. And some other, on the other hand, we're going to talk about a few words about dementia. Of course, there's as we age, the brain might experience some changes. So we're going to talk about the difference between normal aging, mild cognitive impairment, and dementia. So this is not a full dementia course because we can spend like hours talking about different topics, different type of dementia. But however, I encourage you to also follow all the education at the Dementia Society of Ottawa and Renfrew County. We have lots of things going on. So it's great that you, if you want to keep learning, you can always register for further dementia training. And we have also, a Q&A at the end so we can have the opportunity to answer some questions. So as I mentioned, there's not an age, nor a specific time to become brain healthy. So today we're going to talk about brain healthy choices that you can start following every day. So your brain is healthier, you can prevent Alzheimer's and other type of dementia. So let's start with the brain healthy choices. And I hope you guys receive or will receive the handout that I have sent with the brain healthy choices. So we're going to follow these brain healthy choices. So there are 8 brain healthy choices I brought you today. So first of all, care for your heart. What is good for the heart is good for the brain. Number 2, be active. Number 3, eat healthy. Number 4, be social. Believe it or not. Number 5, challenge your brain. Number 6, protect your head. Number 7, sleep well. And finally, but not least important, care for your mental health. So those are brain healthy choices we're going to talk today about. So these are brain healthy choices that can definitely make a difference and can help you to prevent dementia. So let's start with number one. Number one, care for your heart. What is good for the heart is good for the brain. So it seems that when we take care of the heart, we help our heart also to do a better job supplying blood and oxygen and nutrients to the brain. So it's important to know that having regular health checks, knowing your numbers, for example, your blood pressure, your cholesterol levels, your blood sugar, your weight, can help you to also measure and track those changes and aspects of well-being and health, also the heart, as well as a healthy heart. It's also important to quit smoking, please, and limit alcohol intake. So those are things that you can do to improve your heart health. So care for your heart. Number one, what is good for the heart, it's good for the brain. Number two, and very important, be active. Active lifestyle will definitely help. According to different research, there's strong evidence that having a healthy and an active lifestyle will help you to prevent Alzheimer's disease and other type of dementia. So it's very important. It seems to be many health benefits, like also it's good for the heart. It reduces the risk of, for example, having a fall, provide you some strength and balance, and also good for bone health. So those are good things, and definitely staying active is very important. At least, aim at least 30 minutes most of the days. And if we talk about a week, on a weekly calendar and on a weekly schedule, you can aim at least 150 minutes per week, according to the recommendations. Also, I would say move more and sit less. Move to your abilities, of course, and if you have any mobility device, you can still move you do some physical activities and participate in an exercise program that it's best for you or fits you. So I'm glad that Meg is here around. So you can also join Meg's classes. She does an amazing job with the sessions online. So you can stay connected and do those activities as well. If you're joining an exercise program, also it's important to talk to your doctor and also make sure that exercise program fits you well. So it's very important for the brain and also to reduce the risk of dementia, to stay active and have an active lifestyle. So number two, be active. Number three, eat healthy. So I'm not a registered dietitian. I have no, I would say, probably lots of experience in nutrition, but I can say as simply as follow Canada's food guide. Follow Canada's food guide will be a best start with preventing or delaying dementia. So have a healthy eating healthy habits is very important. So just follow Canada's food guide, and this, as you see here, should be your plate. This should be the plate or your plate every meal. So it should be at least 50% or half of the plate should be vegetables and fruits, especially those antioxidants, those greens and berries. Very important for brain health, according to the guidelines, as well as you should limit your protein. So as you see here at the corner, limit, for example, red meat or fatty meat, and more fish here, the big chunk here. So it should be more fish. And also in terms of carbohydrates, you see the big corner here is brown bread. Also choose your whole grain foods. Of course, make water your drink of choice, especially in the summer. Stay hydrated. It's very important for the brain. So this should be the plate that you should have every meal, according to Canada's food guide. And if you ask me what is maybe the most important or the most evidence-based diet to prevent Alzheimer's and dementia, is definitely Mediterranean diet. Seems to be having strong evidence that having, you know, enough omega-3 and fish and vegetables and fruits and olive oil could be beneficial for your brain. So eat healthy, number 3, very important for the brain. Number 4, believe it or not, be social. Sometimes we don't think about how important is to be social. How important are those connections for the brain? It seems that the brain is a social organ, in my opinion. We need to stay connected. We need other people in our life. So the brain, it's you know, keeps those connections and keeps stimulating the brain as well, those connections. So connect with others. We encourage everyone to join, you know, it could be a choir, a walking group, you know, a club, join your peers, and maybe, you know, in your temple, in your church, in your community center. You can catch up with family and friends and also call your neighbors. And if you're retired, I would say the great things to do is volunteer in the community. I think it's great to volunteer because it's also a way of connecting with others and also staying social and connected. And it's fun, right? So be social. Number 4, be social. It's very important for the brain. Let's move on to number 5, challenge your brain. And this is something very important. I think mental activity that challenges person's ability to think is sort of like a buffer, you know, against those thinking abilities declining. But I think also it's something that has to be fun, right? Something that you enjoy. So it's important to expose your brain to new things, especially if that involves like at least one or more type of activity simultaneously. But this is something very personal, and I think you should find a, you know, an interesting activity that you enjoy, that, you know, provides some novelty, variety, and also engagement. So what to do? Well, there's many things. I know people talk about puzzles, Sudoku, crosswords, brain teasers, but it's definitely up to you. Things like reading a book, learning a new language. You can always join some type of activity. There's some fibbing, there's some knitting, there's lots of things you can definitely start doing every day. And that actually is a great way to buffer, you know, to create that cognitive reserve that will protect you as well and will help you. We also have at the Dementia Society, we have the Brainy Active Challenge. And this year, by the way, we have the Brainy Active Challenge Walk for Dementia on September. And you can join us and also, you know, stay motivated and challenge your brain, having a healthy brain. Anyway, so that's number 5, challenge your brain. Number 6, protect your head. So it seems that there's a relationship these days that we know and we understand much better, that there's some relationship between concussion or head trauma and Alzheimer's disease. There's some also some type of dementia or encephalopathies or sort of like something called chronic traumatic encephalopathy that is also related to concussions, multiple concussions, and for example, in sport players. So we know that there's some risk of dementia and head trauma, and we know that much better now. So I would recommend I also, you know, wear a helmet, especially if you're using or doing some sporting activities. But as simple as wearing a seatbelt is very important. And overall, reduce your risk of falling. You know, use the proper shoes, you know, be aware of your surfaces, or if you need any mobility device, or if you need any assessment, also go to your occupational therapist or physiotherapist to get an assessment of your balance. It's very important to be aware. You know, it's not only traumatic brain injury, but also you know, overall falls and injuries are could be very difficult things. So I encourage everyone to protect your head and be aware of that. So number 6, protect your head. Number 7, and that is sleep well. And I know some people might think, well, that's hard. But according to research and guidelines and all the recommendations, it seems that, well, first of all, it's important to sleep. It seems that when we sleep, according to different research shows that when we sleep, it seems that the brain kind of washes out from those toxins, especially those proteins that cause Alzheimer's disease. So in addition, when we sleep, it seems that our memory, especially our short-term memory, or those memories also store better. And it seems that we're having better function. So according to the guidelines, we need at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep every 24 hours period. It's important to have a regular sleep routine. If you're having, some difficulties, you can try relaxation techniques. It's important to do regular exercise, because if you do exercise, also your sleep pattern will improve or could improve. Important to expose yourself to light during the day, because we're telling the brain that there's day and night, so it's time to sleep. On the other hand, it's very important to, if you have some screens in your room or you have a telephone or a cell phone around you, or any TV, the best thing is to turn it off. It seems that there's some also relationship with different screens and quality of sleep. So it's very important to keep you, you have a good sleep, rested sleep, and also a deep sleep. So if you're struggling with any sleep condition or sleep disorder, I would encourage you to talk to your physician or talk to your health provider, so that way you can take some steps to improve your quality of sleep. When I'm talking about different type of condition, maybe sleep apnea, for example, it's something that also is shown that sleep apnea might be also a risk factor for dementia. So it's important to take some actions, talk to your doctor. If you're snoring, if you're choking in the night or having some difficulty breathing, it's very important to, or if your partner notices that you're struggling with, breathing in the night, very important to talk to your doctor about those things, okay? So number 7, sleep well. Number 8, last but not least important, and I think during the pandemic, we learned a lot of things. We also know that mental health is so important for everyone, and it's so important to talk about your mental health. Having a positive mental health is core for a person's well-being. Good mental health allows a person to reach their potential and deal with normal stress of life. So it's important to build resilience. And if you practice all the brain healthy choices that I just mentioned, definitely your mental health will improve, because mental health and brain health are connected. So important to talk also and get support in the community. If you're struggling with mental health, I encourage everyone to talk to your health profession provider, and your health provider. And also there's a lot of support in the community, counselors, stress line, and there are a lot of resources in Ottawa. When we talk also about mental health, we had this sort of like diagram here or infographic that is part of the Ottawa Public Health, actually, that when you're struggling with mental health, it's important to know that it's okay not to be okay. During the pandemic, we went through a lot, and it's important also to mention that people have to stay connected, that you're not alone. So that still, I think we're still providing this information, and also making sure everybody knows the resources in the community. So I encourage you to also to visit Ottawa Public Health on mental health resources. They have lots of information about mental health in different languages for different audiences. And it's a very well done website with lots of connections and informations about mental health support. So now we know the brain healthy choices, right? We know that we have brain healthy choices. They make a difference. Definitely, they are evidence-based, research-based, and we know that we can do things to improve our mental health, brain health, and also prevent Alzheimer's disease and dementia. So I will recap. Unfortunately, I cannot read the room, but I would say that you can repeat after me if you want. So number one, care for your heart. What is good for the heart? It's good for the brain. And then be active. Number three, eat healthy. Number four, be social. Number five, challenge your brain. Number six, protect your head. Number seven, sleep well. And finally, but not least important, care for your mental health. Okay, so now you know the brain healthy choices. So it's it's a good time to start thinking about a plan, right? So before that, I also, we have this handout that I hopefully you guys receive it or will receive it after this presentation. So this is a brain healthy habits on a handout. So it's a simple way of follow the brain healthy choices. You can have it in your room, on your fridge. You can have many copies as you want. It's also on a website, so you can visit dementiahelp.ca, and there's a lot of information about brain health, and especially these brain healthy choices. So I encourage everyone to follow the brain healthy choices. And now we know those brain healthy choices. So what's next, right? So where do I start? So first of all, I recommend to make an action plan. Start with pick a healthy choices of your choice to work on every day or every week. You can start, make a goal, make a plan. You can be realistic and specific. Start small, with little steps. You can definitely do much more for your brain. Let's say start, like, for example, joining exercise classes with Meg, for example, or on your community center, or join you don't have to, for sure, you can stay active. You don't have to run a marathon, but you can start with tracking your steps. For example, now these days we have smartwatches. You can track your steps, you can track your calories, you can do some tracking. So start small. Or maybe I'll eat more salad or fruits, or maybe I'll connect with my friends. Maybe I'll, I join a choir, or I do some crosswords, or maybe I'll make sure I have a good sleep, right? And a good quality sleep. So those are little choices, very small steps that you can start taking to improve your brain health. So that's sort of my recommendation. So we're going to move forward in another topic. So we're going to talk about aging, right? So now we're going to talk about the aging brain. And as we know, as we age, there's we age like the rest of the body ages, as well as the brain ages as the rest of the body. The brain, of course, we get more life experience, so our brain has I would say more resilience, has more information. We have more experience and wisdom, right? And we know that there's some changes, right? But it's important to know that we can always learn and adapt to new things at any age, right? And we have noticed some changes for sure, and especially in memory, concentration, sometimes thinking speed is different. So there's some changes, and we know that, and those changes are okay. Those changes are part of aging. We have, when we forget things, or when we misplace some items, or when we have we don't remember a name or a number, a phone number, or an address, we always have a system, right? We write things more down. We have a reminder, we have a calendar, we have many type of sort of like resources these days, especially with technology. We also have reminders, and we have phone reminders, watch reminders. So we have lots of things or tools that help us to cope with those changes, because we're changing and the brain ages as the rest of the body. So it's important to mention that normal aging it's part of life. The brain can adapt to new things at any age. And it's important to also mention that it's normal to notice those slight declines in memory, concentration, and the speed of processing or thinking speed, okay? So now I will introduce you to another topic, which is dementia. And probably you heard about dementia. The word dementia might mean, you know, many things for many people. But I have to say that dementia, it's a consequence. It's a result of different brain conditions, okay, or brain diseases. So dementia is like an umbrella term, okay? If you see the umbrella here, dementia is like an umbrella term. So under that umbrella, and I mentioned dementia, it's a consequence, it's a result of different brain diseases or conditions. So under that umbrella, we have different type of dementia, okay? So those type of dementia are probably the most common ones that we know or we hear about, right? For example, Alzheimer's disease, right? Alzheimer's disease, it's a type of dementia. It's a brain disease, a brain condition where there's a buildup of proteins. So those are chemicals that accumulate in the brain normally, and those are tau protein and beta amyloid. So the brain, as a result, suffers some type of transformation and also gets, it could affect the cell, the brain cell, and the brain changes. And as a result, also, the person might have memory problems and other problems, right? So as a result of that as well is dementia, right? Or the consequence of that. But it's not only about Alzheimer's disease, because, and this is something important as well, because with the term dementia and with the term or with the name Dementia Society, we're trying to be more inclusive as well, because we're also talking about other type of dementia, right? It's not only about Alzheimer's disease, because there are people who are living with other type of dementia. For example, vascular dementia, which is related to stroke, right? So vascular dementia is quite common as well, related to stroke or mini strokes that could affect a person's brain. These days, there's a lot of comments or information about frontotemporal dementia, even though it's not as common as Alzheimer's disease. It seems that after Bruce Willis, you know, this actor, Hollywood actor, suffers from frontotemporal dementia. There's a lot of interest on frontotemporal dementia and understanding frontotemporal dementia. Usually frontotemporal dementia affects the frontal lobe, which is the one that is behind the forehead, and also temporal lobes, which are on the side of the head. So frontotemporal dementia usually has a hereditary component. It's also has some different symptoms. Other type of dementia, like dementia with Lewy body, for example, it's not as common type of dementia, but there's some Lewy body in the brain that also affects in a different way. Usually has some also some type of Parkinson's-like symptoms as well. In addition, there's Parkinson's disease dementia, which you might heard about the word Parkinson's disease. So Parkinson's disease dementia is the cognitive or the dementia that occurs in person living with Parkinson's disease. And overall mixed dementia, which could be the mix of different type of dementia, for example, Alzheimer's and vascular dementia simultaneously. That could happen, and a person with mixed dementia also might have some other type of symptoms. In addition, there's another condition called mild cognitive impairment, which is the stage between dementia, or we said between aging brain or normal aging and dementia. So that transition or that phase, I'm not going to be talking much about mild cognitive impairment, but if you have any question, I can definitely talk about it. But it's sort of like the transition between normal aging and maybe early dementia. And the most important thing is that in dementia, the person might experience different symptoms, right? And I would say it's a non-one-size-fits-all condition. So people may experience different things, may respond in different ways. And that kind of makes this, condition sort of unique. And it's also like a chronic disease, right? So it takes years and months and years to develop dementia. The other fact is that dementia has no cure yet. We have no cure. However, there's a lot of hope because there's some treatments out there. There are also, just a couple of days ago, a new medication was approved in the US that it seems to be the first medication on this type that might be helping in the treatment of Alzheimer's disease. So there's hope. There's a lot of research, I would say, and things are for sure we're getting to know much more about dementia than in the past. There are many other things like prevention, for example, that we're learning today, that we can do things to improve and to stay brain healthy. So talking about dementia, as I mentioned, dementia is a consequence, is a result of brain conditions or diseases. So it's like an umbrella term. So dementia, as a result, can affect the brain, and can also affect memory, thinking, judgment, learning, speaking and listening, orientation, and understanding. So those are your cognitive abilities, right? So dementia can affect person's ability, cognitive abilities. And the most important thing is, compared to my cognitive impairment, is that dementia can take someone's independence away. So that means those activities of daily living are affected. So the person loses the independence. So the person with dementia may need some support from someone else, right? It's like a caregiver, either family member, or a paid caregiver. So it's important to know that dementia can affect someone's independence. On the same note, well, I have good news for you, because I have to say that dementia is not normal aging. So don't get confused about the word dementia and normal aging. So dementia is definitely not normal aging, as you learn. So a person with normal aging, we all aging, brain changes, that's okay. Dementia, it's a consequence, is a result of different brain diseases that may affect memory and other cognitive abilities. And the most important thing is dementia may take a person's independence away, and will affect the abilities to perform daily activities. Okay, so those are a few words about dementia. And when it comes to dementia warning signs, because some people might ask or might think, well, what are the warning signs? What could this be dementia, right? So we also share this nice infographic that you also have. I believe you might have a copy, or you will receive a copy of this, and it's also on our website, dementiahelp.ca, if you want to check it out or have a copy yourself. So basically, with the 10 warning signs, I just want to say that it's not only about memory loss, right? Because we know that usually dementia, for example, Alzheimer's, might affect memory loss, right? That actually affects day-to-day activities. But there are things like, for example, loss of initiative that a person will experience. For example, with dementia, it's very common to see loss of initiative in Alzheimer's disease, for example, or maybe challenges with performing familiar tasks. For example, if someone really enjoys to cook the favorite recipe, and all of a sudden this person might not remember or get confused about the steps, right, of something that you really perform probably on a regular basis, right? Things like confusion about time and space, challenges with language, changes in mood, changes in judgment, misplacing items. Okay, so those are warning signs. And the key message here and the takeaways are that these warning signs could be one or many at the same time. Important to clarify that you don't need these 10 warning signs to get the diagnosis of dementia. So this is just to sort of like create some awareness about those symptoms, okay? And also it's important to mention that this is not exclusively for dementia, because there's some other conditions. For example, if someone is depressed, for example, has depression, it could, have memory problems. The person might have some loss of initiative, could have some changes in mood or behavior, misplacing items as well. So it's not exclusively for dementia. So as a person who is depressed might experience some warning signs as well. But the thing is, the key message here is that these warning signs are to sort of like help you to understand where those most common symptoms, but also it's important to seek for medical advice or medical attention if someone gets some warning signs, because important thing is to rule out, right? Is this dementia or not dementia, right? Could this be dementia? So that could be the question, right? So as I mentioned, the first step is always to talk to your doctor about any changes in thinking, memory, or behavior. It's very important to connect with your family physician. If you have, any of those warning signs, it's important to rule out dementia, because it could be another thing for sure. There are many other conditions that you might be experiencing. And in summary, I can say that, well, today you learned the brain healthy choices. They definitely make a difference. They are evidence-based, they're research-based, they're ways to protect your brain against Alzheimer's disease and other type of dementia. So I recommend to make a plan. The brain ages like the rest of the body, and that's for sure. We're changing, but it's important to recognize that normal aging is normal, and dementia is not a normal part of aging. Please keep in mind that. And also see your doctor for changes in memory, thinking, or behavior. And as we said or mentioned, number 1, care for your heart. Number 2, be active. Number 3, eat healthy. Number 4, be social. Number 5, challenge your brain. Number 6, protect your head. Number 7, sleep well. Number 10, care for your mental health. So those are brain healthy choices. And also, if you have any concerns about changes in thinking, memory, behavior as well, if you want to learn more about dementia, if you want to keep in touch with, dementia education or support, or if you want to learn more just as a general knowledge, or you want to support someone with dementia, or someone with dementia, you can always connect with the Dementia Society. We're here to help. As you see, we not only provide services and education to persons with dementia and caregivers, we also promote dementia prevention. We do a lot of we have a lot of information about living well, or brain healthy choices that you can take, as well as memory wellness. And also we for sure support 24,000 people living with dementia in Ottawa and Renfrew County and their caregivers. So that's our main mission. And with that, I also have to say that you can subscribe to any updates or the weekly roundup. We have lots of things going on a monthly basis. So you can learn more about those activities that we have in our community. We have our new Dementia Society Center, which is a new facility that is very dementia inclusive, where you can connect with a coach. You can learn about dementia. You can participate in different social and recreational programs. And if you want to learn more, you can also visit our website, dementiahelp.ca. As you see here, you can also, scan for the QR codes here right away. It's important to mention here also, as part of the team, it's that it's very important to remind you that your support is very important. And now more than ever, people impacted by dementia in our region are seeking our help. And as the number of dementia increase, more programs are required. So your donation are critical to help to ensure that here no one faces dementia alone. So if you can also provide support, not only volunteering or helping us to make people with dementia life easier in Ottawa and Renfrew County, you can also donate, or even you can register for our Brainy Active Walk for Dementia in September. So if you want to learn more, I definitely encourage you to, visit our website, dementiahelp.ca, or even you can scan the QR code and make a donation right away. So with that, I have to say, well, thank you so much for this invitation. Thank you so much for, for learning, for taking this morning, Thursday morning, to learn about your brain, learn about how to prevent Alzheimer's disease and dementia. And thank you so much. And I'm open to questions now.
Awesome. Thank you, Germán. Thank you so much. That was so informative. I'm sure everyone really enjoyed all you had to share. And thank you for making it so applicable and so with all those helpful tips. So I think all of us can take action right away. Now we do have one question and then one comment. So the first question we have is from Helen, and she asks, does MCI, which stands for mild cognitive impairment, necessarily mean developing dementia in the future?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And well, there's a greater chance that someone gets MCI to get dementia. The chances probably are in maybe 5 to 10 years of developing dementia. At some point, it's difficult to mention or to say that at some point, mild cognitive impairment may be or might be in a gray area or gray zone, where there's some intersections between dementia or early Alzheimer's and mild cognitive impairment. But I have to say that there's a risk of, an increased risk if someone gets mild cognitive impairment to get dementia for sure. And we definitely have another presentation called Understanding Mild Cognitive Impairment. And if you want to join in the future, we are also having this session and we want to learn more about what is mild cognitive impairment and what are your chances of getting dementia.
Okay, great. Thank you. I see Lise has her hand up and she wants to ask a question. So you just have to unmute yourself, Lise.
Yeah. Okay. My mother had Alzheimer at 75. I am 74 now. And when I was 33, she had a hard pregnancy. And at 33, I had a seizure and on a lobe, temporal lobe. And I had a surgery, 10-hour surgery. And it was localized. And they said, the surgeon said it was because she had a hard pregnancy, and it was true. And now I had to take medication. I'm fine. I didn't have any problem. I was able to be a teacher all my life. And I speak 2 languages. I am French, but my husband is English, so I speak English all the time. But I even lost my French too. I'm trying to be active. And one thing I notice is when we get older, like lately, if I take Tylenol extra strength, that would help me to sleep a lot better, But if we don't take it, I sleep about 6 hours, I could improve for the sleeping part. So do you have any recommendation to give me? I'm active. I go walking 30 minutes every day. And I'm careful about what I'm eating and no alcohol and anything like that. And that's about it. So do you have any advice to give me?
Well, Lisa, thank you for sharing that. That's great to hear. I'm not really quite sure. You mentioned what is the condition that you had in the past? The name?
Condition is I had seizure,
Okay,
when I
seizure.
was 3 years old, I told you. And my mother had Alzheimer at 75.
Okay.
I am 74.
Oh, okay.
She died at 80 years old.
Perfect. Yeah. So, well, thank you.
According to the genetic, I can be prone for dementia according to the genetic tests, that we do.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Lee. So basically, so you want to know the risk based on your genetics at some point, right? And also if you can do something about it. And thank you for sharing that. Definitely there's not
and my father had a heart problem, but still.
Yeah. Well, definitely the genetics, it's an important factor, but in terms of dementia, depends on the type of dementia. Alzheimer's disease, for example, is only 5 to 10%. I would say 10% genetics. So you have your genes that definitely are your mom's side, but also your dad's side, right? So you share both, genes as well. And the thing is, important thing is that you also have some sort of like lifestyle risk factor as well, right? So I would say that on the genetic side, it's important to say that we cannot change those, right? We can know the risk, but I would say that at this point, I believe that most important is to stay brain healthy, try to follow those brain healthy choices, as I mentioned. At some point, you can always check on your heart health. I think important to, especially cardiovascular. Yeah, the cardiovascular component seems to have playing an important role in dementia prevention. According to research, it seems that even blood pressure, checking your heart is good, and also checking with your physician is very important. So heart health, I would say, is key, especially in those lifestyle modification, and an active lifestyle definitely will help you.
Do you offer some courses like for session and for activity, like activity online, like?
Well, I think Meg is better as the best person.
Like that.
Yeah, Meg is the best person to answer that, because
because I would
say
like to
maybe
be aware. I like to be on a computer, and I would like to be aware of some physical activities. I am taking a course right now twice a week, online, and I wish I would know what the public service offer, online for the fitness class,
Yes, yeah. So I do offer some fitness classes. There's two options. I offer an online fitness membership, and all NAFR members get 33% off. And then I also do some weekly Zoom fitness classes. So if anyone does want to learn more about the classes and you want to talk to me, I do offer a free 15-minute health consultation. So we can chat on the phone or through Zoom, and I can learn a little bit more about your health goals, what you want to achieve, and then tell you a little bit more about the programs. So yeah, so Lise, if you want to reach out and talk to me, I'd love to, and anyone else here as well.
Well, you can, how can I reach you?
So yeah, so both myself and Germán, we'll have our contact information in the follow-up email that Antoine will be sending out. And then also you'll receive all the handouts that were mentioned as well today.
Would be more interested in activities online, especially fitness and everything like this. I'm doing it now, but I would like to do it more.
Yes, awesome. Well, that is so good. So good to hear that. That's wonderful. Wonderful goal. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Lise. Thank you for sharing. And Germán, thank you again for your presentation today. So helpful, so informative. So we really appreciate you taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for the invitation, and I hope everybody stay brainy active.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Hi, I just have some final words for everyone before we head off. 1 second. So I just want to say thank you on behalf of the Ottawa branch to Meg and Germán, because this was a great presentation. I think a subject that we hadn't tackled in the past, and I think was delivered some valuable information to our members. So thank you, Meg and Germán, especially. And a reminder, I think Meg already mentioned it, but we will be sending out a follow-up email to everyone who registered for the presentation. And that will include the handouts that Germán mentioned, as well as contact information for Germán and Meg, and more information on the Dementia Society. And finally, remember that you can always invite non-members to attend these webinars, and to register for any upcoming webinars, including AIM Fitness fitness session that will be happening in August. You can visit our website, and the link for our website will also be in the follow-up email. So thank you, everyone, and see you at our next